Good morning. Welcome to Yin Yoga. So today, our peak pose is going to be frog pose. That's one where we start on all fours, knees and arms kind of come out to the side. So if you know that your hips do not go all the way to the floor in that one, and for most people, they will not. It takes a lot of practice to get there. I recommend a strong pillow or two or a bolster cushion or something like that so you have that support. I also recommend having a couple blankets that you undo so that your knees have a little bit of cushion as well. I will also offer you the half frog today. If you start the full frog and you're like, nope, not happening, you can still get that hip opener, and I'll cue you through that. So the only other props you need are maybe some blankets for those cushions and comfort and a strap. We'll use that at the end. So we'll come into our nice opening seat here, sitting however you need to be for your comfort, which might not be what I'm doing. You can sit up higher if your hips are a little bit tight. I'm going to roll my shoulders back. I'm going to relax through the face, the shoulders, and the hips. I'm going to take a slight tuck in the chin. Good. I'm just going to drop into my heart space and come into my practice. So noticing if you can soften just a little bit more somewhere. Good. And then from here, we're going to go into a pranayama. So lately we've been doing the 4x4 breath, equal part inhale, equal part exhale. And you can still do that. I'm going to offer you the ocean breath, the Ujjayi pranayama. So that's the back of the throat vibration on inhale and exhale. And if you can only do one or the other, that's fine too. It took me a while to be able to put everything together. But I will cue you through that here. So we're just going to take a big exhale to prepare, relaxing through the body. Inhale. Making the sound on the in for a count of 4. And exhale, feel the vibration for a count of 4. Good. Now I cannot Ujjayi and count at the same time. So I'm going to count for you. You take Ujjayi if you can. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to normal breath, fingertips to the side. Palms turning up. Inhale, reach, and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in heart center. Creating an intention for your practice. What would you like to give or receive? And once you have that set, we'll inhale, take the palms back up. Let's just separate the palms from right here. Reach tall, belly button is in. We're going to take a side bend to the left. Good. I'm just reach. Breathing, hips are down, gaze is where it needs to be. You can stay here, or maybe you want to open up just a little bit more. And because we're not really shoulder intensive this week, really use this as an opportunity to kind of get in there a little bit. So let the gravity and the weight of your arm just provide that extra stretch for you. Good. And then from here, coming back to the side, moving through center, reach. We're taking that to the other side now, taking it over. Breathe and expand so bones are grounded, gaze is where you need it to be. And then from here, maybe we just open to the ceiling, just find that nice shoulder stretch. Good. Inhale, exhale, we'll lengthen, we'll come back. Reach again. Inhale, exhale, gentle rotation to the left. Arms come down, roll the shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. Think about chin being more parallel with the floor. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, center. Inhale, exhale, take that to the other side. Rolling the shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. Good. And then inhale and lift. Exhale, come to center. Taking your arms forward, palms up towards the ceiling, taking hands to the shoulders. Just move forward and back. Just because this movement feels so good. And if you spend a lot of time behind a computer like I do, as I do online classwork, then this can help with some of that tension. And just maybe take some circles here. Good. And then maybe opposite direction. Good. And then just shake it, shake it, shake it. All right. We're going to come belly down. We're going to start with Sphinx. We're going to be in Sphinx for 2 minutes. We'll take a child's pose. And then from there, we'll go up a little higher into seal if that's where you want to be. So remember, different people have to do Sphinx in different ways. Maybe you need a little bit of lift with a folded blanket, and that blanket can be any thickness that you need. It'll come right to the edge of your pelvic bones here if you need that little lift. If you don't need that lift, you can move that to the side. Good. Now, I always like to just do a little wiggle wiggle here just to kind of get settled in. I'm going to take my elbows forward. Good. My palms are going to be down here. We're just going to do this first one for a couple minutes. So I'm going to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through the lower body. I'm zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. My belly button is in. Good. And I'm just going to kind of lift. I'm pressing into the forearms, into the elbows. My shoulders in their pocket. I'm going to shine my heart forward as I look. I'm still reaching through that low body. Now, if this is okay for you, stay here. If you want to take some little neck stretches or movements, feel free. So you can look to the right, you can look to the left, you can look up, you can look down, you can take some circles. Find what works for you. Stillness is always an option. Be mindful while you're here that we're not crunching in the low back. So you want to keep that belly button in. And this is where having that little bit of a pelvic lift come into play. So if your belly button is in and you're like, well, I still feel like my low back is crunching, take that folded blanket under your pelvis and see if that helps you. You're breathing and expanding that rib cage. You can keep the Ujjayi Pranayama here, that back of the throat constriction. Fifteen seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now, we'll come down out of here. I'm going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'm going to take my hands under my shoulders. I'm going to take it back here for a child's pose. We're going to be about 2 minutes in this child's pose. So knees can be as wide as the mat, somewhere in between. Big toes can touch or not. You can take your arms long in front of you. You can take your hands back by your ankles. You choose. We're active here, so we're zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. We're expanding through that rib cage. Maybe come back to your intention. What did you set for yourself? For me, it is control. Or letting go of control. I should be a little bit more specific. More specifically, even than that, coming to the realization and acceptance that I am never in control. There will always be something that happens beyond my control. Something will always one-up and surprise me. But I am in control as to how I react to that. So lately it's been some technological challenges. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll come up out of there. Good. We're going to come back forward. So now we're going to prepare for seal. So now we're going to come into that little bit of a deeper back bend. Now, that being said, if Sphinx, the one that we just did, is best for you, that's where I recommend you be. I also recommend you stay down here if you've got some wristy issues, because being up here might be a little hard on the wrist. So take it where you're going to take it. We'll go for 2 minutes. Get yourself set up for success. Again, you can bring in a blanket here under the pelvis if you need that. But I'm going to start by taking my hands a little bit more forward and to the side. I'm going to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Belly button is in. And then from here, are you going to go to Sphinx? Are you going to go a little bit? Or are you going to go a lot? Wherever you're going here, try not to have locked out elbows. So you don't want to be here. Good. And you want your shoulders to be relaxed down in their pockets. Again, mindful of not hanging in the back. So here's hanging in the back. Here's a supported low back. Be supported. Good. We're going to smile here. So I just caught myself with creepy shoulders. So allow the shoulders to relax. We've got less than a minute to go. Breathe and expand. Good. 30 seconds. Remember, if you need to come out of anything sooner than what I call it, please do so. If you can't maintain good form, can't maintain good breath, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, whatever, please don't stay there. Come out. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We'll lower that down. Good. I'm going to wiggle here. As I do so, I'm going to roll my wrist out because I took that high seal. If your body needs you to push back into child's pose here for a moment, please do so. We'll be here for about a minute. Whenever you're ready, we're going to transition to a seat. So I'm just going to kind of move through here through tabletop a little bit. Good. We're going to come into Janu Sirsasana here. Some people call it half butterfly. I'm going to bring my blanket in so I can sit just a little bit higher. Good. And I'll show you this one from the side today. This one is going to be, actually, I'm going to show you this from the front. This one is going to be 4 minutes. And so what this one is going to do is we'll do a basic for the first 2 minutes. We'll add a twist on for the last 2 minutes. So I'm going to take my left leg forward. I'm going to bring my right foot in here to the thigh. Good. And I'm just going to kind of come to that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So tailbone goes back, hip bones rock forward. Good. And so then from here, I'm going to come up. I'm going to come nice and tall. Big inhale, exhale, hinging from the hips first. And I'm just going to take my fold. Good. When I can come no more, your body will let you know. Then you'll just come down from here. Good. Now, if you're tighter in the hamstrings, you need to have support under that knee. You always want to take care of yourself there. And then from here, I'm just going to let myself settle in when my body's ready on the exhales, and I'm going to breathe and expand. And this one, think about head and neck being an extension of the spine. So there's nothing on this wall in front of you to look at. There's nothing on the chest that the chin needs to touch. My gaze is right, maybe about the center of my shin bone here. So remember in Yin, we don't want to come to our deepest right off the bat. So you want to give yourself some time to get there, space for your body to get there. Now, as we start to come up on the halfway point, I'm going to talk to you about your options. So if you like this right here, you want to stay here, feel free to stay here. Those of you that are going to go into a twist with me, I'm going to take my left arm, so same arm as leg, and I'm just going to let it come on the inside. Maybe you grab the foot or the toe, and I'm actually going to open to the right. And find a little bit of length here in that torso before you open to the right. Your arm can come up. It can come overhead. You can wrap it around on the back of the body. Your choice. Find your breath. Find your intention. Good. There we are. From there, if you took the twist, carefully come out of your twist first, and then we'll walk ourselves back up. Good. So for those of us that took a twist, we're just going to lightly twist in the opposite direction here just to get a little counter with what we did. And then we're going to take that all to the other side. So now I'm going to switch out my legs. So I'm going to take the right leg forward. I'm going to bring the left foot in. Good. Support underneath this knee here. If you need to, recheck your anterior tilt of the pelvis, not of the spine, but of the pelvis. And then from here, when you're ready, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge, fold, not at your deepest, and the arms will just come down. Breathe and expand into that rib cage. And come back to breath, come back to your intention. Breathe into that back body. So again, as we start to come up into the halfway mark, you choose. Are you going to stay here because this feels great for you, or maybe twisting is not a good idea for you today? Or are you going to twist with me? So if you're twisting with me, right arm's going to come on the inside of that right leg, grabbing yogi toe, yogi foot, whatever you want, and you're going to open to the left. Good. Take your arm wherever it wants it to be. The shoulder tends to be a little cranky, so I'm just going to let it wrap versus being up in the air today. Always remembering, find a little bit of length before you twist. I should say that before we twist. Remember, active practice. So we're still zipping up from pubic bone up behind the navel, our belly button into the spine so we can support the back body with the front body. We're breathing and expanding here. Especially important if you took the twist, because if we can't expand the rib cage in a twist, we've gone too far into the twist. Good. So from here, if you took the twist, carefully come out of twist first, and then carefully come all the way back up. All right. So this one, next one is kind of a play on deer pose. And we don't do this one too often, but it does help us get into internal and external rotation and prepare us for that big frog pose. So if you're familiar with Pilates, especially Pilates Reformer, we sit on it sometimes in this position called Pilates Z. And so basically you're making a Z with your legs. So I'm still going to sit up here on my blanket. So I'm going to start by taking my left leg. I'm just going to kind of roll over to the side. Just kind of take it back behind me. Good. And then I'm going to bring this right foot forward. So I'm kind of making that Z stance. And you might have to kind of adjust a little bit. If this is not for you today, and it won't be for everybody, for me, I'm 50-50. Sometimes my knees and hips are okay. Sometimes they're like, nope, we're not going to do that today. So if that's you, don't worry about this part. I'm going to give you something else to do instead. Take your hands behind. Good. And just get some nice little windshield wipers here, taking a pause. Okay, so that might feel a little bit better on your hips, and you're still getting internal and external rotation there. You're just not holding the pose. Okay, so find where you're going to go here. Find any support that you need, and we're not going to be here very long. We're just going to do a couple minutes. Good. And so then from here, I'm going to twist towards my right. So my left leg is out here. I'm going to just do a gentle twist towards the right. And we're just going to look behind me. The exception of this is if you're doing windshield wiper, you'll just kind of keep moving through there, slow and gentle pace, small pauses. And if you're twisting with this one with me, you want that left hip, that opposite hip, to be anchored a little bit down. So you don't want it to completely lose its engagement with the floor. And different people will feel different things here. Some people might not feel a whole lot of anything. Other people are going to feel like, wow, that's kind of intense. You had less than a minute to go. In 15 seconds. Breathing and expanding, coming back to your intention. Good. And then from here, carefully come out of the twist verse. If you went into windshield wiper, take a break from that. We're all going to carefully undo, take our legs forward, just get a little shake here. Good. We're going to take that to the other side. So, and what you do now might be completely different than the other side. Maybe you can do the deer or the Z on this side, but you couldn't on the other side. I have days like that myself. Good. Good. So now I've got, this is my right leg coming behind. This is my left leg now in front. Good. I'm anchoring through, energetically anchor that right hip, because this is more about this side, not what you're doing here. And then when you're ready, good, find a little length, find your twist, or find your nice gentle windshield wipers going back and forth. Maybe if you did windshield wipers for the other side, you can find a little bit more of a pause on one side to the other before you move. Just an idea. in less than a minute. About 15 seconds. This is my harder side, so I've constantly had to remind myself to relax through that right hip. Good. And then from here, we'll carefully come out of the twist first. Good. Take both legs long and just kind of shake, shake, shake. All right. So now the moment we've been waiting for, frog pose. So different people are going to do different things here. And before I do anything, I know that my knees will need extra cushion because I'm on a hard floor surface. So I am going to undo these blankets here and build up that cushion. Like that. And I'll take another one. Good. Now, I tend to use two blankets when I do this. If you need 3 or 4, then you need 3 or 4, and there's nothing wrong with that. We do what our body needs us to do in the moment. Okay. I am not sure if I'm going to need a bolster cushion, so I'm just going to have it here on standby. I might need something maybe not as intense or high up than that, so I'm going to have my other folded blanket on standby. All right. So before we officially start, here's how you're going to come into the full. You'll start on all fours. Knees are going to come out to the side. So remember, you want to keep hip and knee and ankle in alignment. Your toes are going to turn out away from the body. Good. Now, this is where you decide, how do I need support here? So this is a day where I would certainly need my bolster cushion underneath. Okay. So there's that. Some of you are like, I don't really want to do that whole thing. I just want to do the half. So if you're just going to do the half, you may not need as many props, but you're just going to pull one knee up, and then it's going to be the same. So hip, knee, and knee, ankle, and you're just doing one at a time. And when I say halfway point, then you'll switch and go into the other side, okay? You're still opening the hip, just less intense than doing them both at the same time. So whenever you're ready, come into your position. And also note too, this is one of those positions where I often start with high props, propping me up higher. And then as I go on in the pose, I don't need to be as propped up anymore. Good. So find your half or your full. I'm just going to move this all the way in here. I'm moving this all the way down. I want to have my support from the whole trunk to the groin. Okay. Good. 4 minutes here. And if you're doing full frog with me too, take your head to one side, and then at the halfway point, you'll take your head and neck to the other side so that we don't get cramps later here. And then, just because I caught myself, a lot of people come a little bit forward. Think about hips and knees. You'll know you're at your sweet spot because it won't feel as comfortable if your hips are forward of the knees. Having a mirror, being able to see yourself in the video can be helpful with your form when I'm not there with you in person to help you with that. And we're still active, so we're zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Belly button is certainly into the spine. And we're coming up on the halfway point. So from here, if you need to switch legs, if you're doing the half, if you need to switch over your neck, if you need to switch out some support props, you can do that now. About a minute, 15 left. Come back to your intention. Come back to that breath. And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now, if you went into a half frog, just take your legs long, make your little recovery position. Those of us that did full, in the way that's best for you, everyone's going to come out a little bit differently based on how you did props or no props. I'm just going to take one leg long at a time. I'm going to kind of press myself up here. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way, and then I'm going to come down into a nice little recovery crocodile position here. So I'm taking my feet about as wide as the mat. And I'm just going to rock, rock, rock side to side. Good. Notice how you feel. When you feel okay, we're going to carefully come onto our back. So I just want to do a roll over here. My strap conveniently was right next to my foot, so I'm just going to use that foot to bring that strap to me. So we will grab our strap here. So let's become supine, lying on our backs. Let's just do one real quick little figure 4 here. And we're not going to do like we did last time where we were here for a while. Just take it in just a little bit. We're just countering the rotation that we just took and just rock, rock side to side. And then when we're ready, just switch sides. Good. And then find your figure 4. Oh, feels so good. And then when you're ready, we're going to grab that strap. So we're just going to open the hips a little bit differently here. And we're just going to do a couple stretches with the strap, and then we're going to come to a twist. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to, actually, you know what? Let's start on the left side because that's the side that's facing you, and that'll be a little bit better for what I'm doing here. Good. Find a strap in each hand. Let everything settle down into its socket. Your other knee can be bent or the leg can be long. That's going to be personal preference and how your back feels. Find a grip that's appropriate for your range of motion. Remember, we want a soft knee. So here's my soft knee. Here's my locked out knee. So be nice and soft. And then we're just going to let that leg come in towards the face here. I'm lengthening a little bit from crown to tail. I'm just going to breathe and expand. Good. Release. Good. I'm going to take both straps into the left hand. And before we come into the stretch, let's just come into just a little bit of a circle here. Just a few in one direction, and then a few on the other direction. Not really yin, but it just feels good after frog. And then from here, coming back in the center, both hips, both shoulders are going to stay grounded. We're going to take that left leg out to the left. You can relax into that strap or gentle tug towards the shoulder. When you're ready, we'll use that strap to bring the foot back in. We're going to remove that strap. Good. Just kind of grip a little bit from behind that left knee. And I'm just going to kind of pull into the chest. If that's not accessible, go more towards your left shoulder. I'm going to lengthen my right leg here. Good. If you took your knee more towards the shoulder, bring it a little bit more in line here. And then I'm going to take a right hand on the outside of that left thigh. The left arm out to the side. We're going to twist to the right. Breathe and expand, maybe looking to the left. Good. Head will come back to center. Carefully guide your leg back in the center. Good. Give it one final little tug in, and then we're going to switch sides. So now you can have a bend in that left knee, or you can have that left leg long. We're going to bring that strap back in. Taking that strap around the center part of the right foot now. Let everything settle down into its socket. Soft knee. And then from here, find the grip that's appropriate for your range of motion. Good. And then we'll just bring that leg in towards the face. There we go. I'm finding a little bit of length from crown to tail. My belly button is into the spine. I'm expanding as I breathe. Good. We'll carefully release. Take both straps into the right hand. And again, just take those gentle, controlled little circles, just a few in one direction. And then a few in the opposite direction. Good. And then from here, coming back to center, both hips, both shoulders are going to stay grounded as you take your right leg out to the right. You can leave it there. You can tug in towards that shoulder. And when you're ready, we'll take that back up. Good. Remove the strap. Good. Take your hands behind that right thigh. Give it a nice big squeeze in here. I'm going to take my left leg long here because I had it then. And then from here, if you had your knee a little bit more towards the shoulder, bring it back a little bit more in line with the chest. And then left hand's going to come to the outside of the right thigh. Right arm's going to come to the side. We're going to twist that over to the left, maybe looking to the right. Breathe and expand. Good. Head will return to center. Carefully guide that leg back into center. Give yourself one final tug in. Good. Now bring in the other knee for a nice final tug in. Maybe a little low back massage here. And we're going to set up for Shavasana. So you can stay here, maybe everything long and flopping open. You can bring in different props if you want that. You can put a bend in the knees. I'm going to reach behind me, grab my bolster, conveniently located, not strategically located. Good. I'm just going to bring my bolster under my legs today here. Good. Rolling my shoulders under. And once you've decided where you're going to go, knowing you can also be on your belly and on your side, being where you're comfortable, could you make yourself about 10% more comfortable? And I will leave you here for a few moments, coming back to your intention, dropping into the heart space, coming back to that breath. Begin to take some deeper breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep your upper body lowered or maybe lift it into a full body hug. If you're lifting, don't forget to tuck your chin, don't let the head hang in space. And then choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way if you used any during Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex to the feet. Bend and stretch to the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking all the time you need to be here before coming to a seat. And when you are ready to come to a seat, we'll find that seat. So maybe the same one you started with, maybe a different one. Good. Could you find a little bit of length with your seat? Noticing how you feel now versus when we started. Palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach, and lengthen, nice and tall. Touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Reconnecting with that intention you made for yourself one more time. We'll take thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts. To our lips for good and kind words. And to our hearts for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, evening, week ahead. Namaste.